Hello, welcome to Financial Insider Weekly. I am your host, Michael Gray, CPA. My guest today is Lamar Baxter. Lamar Baxter is a business development representative for Entrust Administration, Incorporated. He has over 20 years of financial experience. In addition to specializing in self-directed retirement accounts, he's knowledgeable about residential mortgage loans for both primary homeowners and investors. He has experience in commercial lending, accounts receivable factoring, and private notes secured by real estate. He is able to provide his clients, partners, financial professionals, real estate professionals, and investors with the tools required to invest in real estate-related transactions with a self-directed IRA account or a Roth account. Today, we're going to be talking about investing in real estate in your IRA or Roth account. So, Lamar, thank you very much for coming and joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. So before we get started with our questions, I just want to caution our viewers that we're discussing issues in a very complex area. This is a starting point for a bigger discussion, and we want you to get qualified legal and tax advice. So this is not everything here. You need to get some more information. Okay, Lamar, let's get started with our questions.
Okay.
So why did you get into this area of offering independent trust services for IRAs?
Well, in 2008, late 2008, as everyone knows, the economy pretty much had gone over the cliff, and at that time I was leaving the real estate arena as a result of the crash and looking for another form of employment. So it was a matter at the time I had pulled all of my money out of the stock market late November. And I was actually being recruited. At that time, I started looking for employment within the financial sector, but at the same time trying to make sure it was an area that I was going to be comfortable in. So I was being recruited by two traditional custodial firms, and I had actually accepted an offer with one, and at the last minute, Entrust had actually contacted me, made an offer. And after giving me a description of what they were doing and so on and so forth, and having had past experience originating loans used with a non-recourse loan, it was definitely an area of interest. So I thought, well, this is something that I can actually advocate at the same time and take part in, and actually share a lot of experience that I've had in the past in terms of how this investment vehicle works, is how I actually got involved with the Entrust Group.
Okay. So why would someone consider this alternative of using a self-directed IRA with an independent trustee?
Well, it's not for everyone, but for the most part, a lot of people are dissatisfied with the results as well as the returns they've received in the market, especially over the last 3 to 4 years. It's a lot of volatility still currently in the market. It's just a lot of uncertainty. So a lot of people will want a little more control, or should I say a lot more control over their retirement in particular. So this is an area where our motto is invest in what you know. So there's a lot of different investment vehicles or options that's available where an account holder can actually take advantage of a self-directed IRA, protect their investment, or at least will definitely grow their account, but at the same time take a more proactive approach in terms of protecting the actual principal and grow the retirement account.
Okay. Now, how is your service different from a self-directed plan at a bank or a brokerage company?
Well, based on our plan agreement, we allow for alternative investment. So the question is, what is alternative investment? Usually alternative investments would be pretty much anything outside of your traditional arena, such as stocks, bonds, CDs, annuities, and so on and so forth. Although you're also allowed to make that type of investment with the self-directed IRA, our plan agreement allows both, the best of both worlds, both traditional and non-traditional investments.
Yeah. So when you hear a bank or a brokerage company say that they have a self-directed plan, what they're really saying is, yeah, you can choose whatever you want as long as it's on this list.
That's correct. That's correct.
Whereas with Entrust, you have a lot more choices that may not be on those lists.
Well, what we usually do to reply to that is when a client calls and say, I already have a self-directed IRA, well, I'll usually ask them about the different investment classes that's available with a truly self-directed IRA, and we'll then ask them, is that an option available with your current custodian? That's usually how we'll kind of get through to determine the difference between what they're offering opposed to what we're offering.
Okay. So what types of retirement plans do you handle?
We handle pretty much the same type of retirement plans as a traditional custodian, be the traditional, the Roth, the simple, the SEP IRA. We also have the SEP IRA, which is real popular for those who are 1099 or self-employed. We also have what's called an individual K, also known as a solo K, for those who are 1099 or W-2. It's a combination of both, giving the account holder the ability to contribute as both the employer as well as the employee. So and in addition to those types of plans, we also have the Coverdale, as well as the health savings account, which also could be self-directed.
Okay. So when we talk about these solo Ks, I mean, really what we're saying is it's a special kind of a 401k. It's not one where you have a broad participation. You have to have, it's pretty much the owner and maybe the owner and the owner's spouse. And,
or a partner or general partner is also allowed as well.
Okay, okay. Well, why would someone want to invest in real estate through an IRA or a Roth account?
Well, what's happening right now, I mean, there's a lot of different investments, both traditional and non-traditional investments. A lot of, at least this is the response or feedback that I'm getting from my clients, yield and return is important, but also principal preservation is important. So if you look at real estate, although we've had some downtimes as it relates to real estate has never gone to zero, where you have some blue chip stocks that actually did not perform well, if not just totally had gone to zero. So you have a situation where looking at something such as real estate in terms of investment class opposed to maybe some traditional investments, which one has a higher probability of going to zero in a worse economic situation? So that's what a lot of our clients are looking at. Not to mention real estate is super cheap right now. You have two payment streams, whether it be monthly cash flow as well as appreciation down the road. So it's definitely something that a lot of people are taking advantage of. Yeah.
I think part of where we are, especially at this particular time, is when the real estate market is soft, then it looks like, well, there's an old saying, when there's blood in the streets, there's money to be made. Right. So anyway, so because you can, in many cases, buy real estate, again, at low prices, and people see that opportunity there, but meanwhile, let's just say they're cash poor outside of their retirement accounts.
Yeah.
And so, so it's sort of like, where is the money? Where is the money available? Well, the money that may be available is in fact inside of a retirement account. So now, how can I get access to that?
Well, that's what we nicknamed the self-directed IRA now. We call it the alternative capital. So when someone says, I would love to get involved in real estate investing, especially with the prices so low, but I don't have any cash. Well, the alternative capital now is the self-directed or retirement account through the self-directed IRA.
Yeah, okay. So what are some advantages of investing in real estate using an IRA or a Roth?
Well, once again, you have you have better insulation from global economic turmoil as one of the key reasons that a lot of people are investing, or what I say, one of the key advantages. Not to mention you have a lot more control over in terms of market conditions. They're more local opposed to global or regional or national.
So let's talk about, though, really the advantage of the IRA or a Roth account. So for example, then you get tax deferral, isn't that right?
Tax deferral, or depending on if you go with a Roth, you could pay no taxes, though, depending on the situation.
Yeah. So anyway, so you can get some real tax advantages, but as we'll talk about in a few moments, you have to be very careful about it. And there is, even if you have some taxable income, you have a small exemption. It's about $1,000.
Right.
So that's attractive to a lot of people too, is the idea that you can accumulate capital gains without paying a tax. You could actually sell this real estate eventually within the account, and you won't have to pay a current tax.
That is definitely one of the hot buttons.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then again, if it's a Roth account, well, the idea is that when you take the money out of the Roth account eventually, that's going to be tax-free. And although in some cases, as we'll say, the Roth itself could possibly be subject to a tax along the way. All right. Well, let's say that you do go ahead with one of these accounts. again, we'll talk a little bit about unrelated business income later, but the fact of the matter is there may be an income tax return that needs to be prepared for the retirement account, the IRA or the Roth account. Who prepares that tax return?
That is usually up to the account holder to get their tax professional to prepare that for them.
Right. So that's one thing that people need to really understand, because they may think that when they hire a company such as yours that really you're going to do everything. They're used to that with their IRA account. They put the money in there and they forget it.
Right. So one of the things we emphasize is that we provide custodial and administrative services. And in addition to those services, what we provide in terms of the additional services would be IRS reporting and record keeping. So that would not be inclusive of any form of tax filing. So it's important that they do have on hand or relationship with a tax professional to handle that aspect of the business.
Right. But as I recall, you guys still do sort of sign the tax returns as the custodian.
That's right, because as it relates to any investment held by the IRA, we're acting as the trustee on the behalf of the IRA. So we're signing off on any documents relative to any transaction or assets being acquired or sold within the IRA.
Okay. So can there be a trade or business issue for some real estate activities? And what does your company do related to that?
When you say trade or business?
Okay, so in other words, sometimes when you invest in real estate, you could actually have business income instead of just investment income. So do you have like some educational activities that you have for your customers related to that? Or?
Well, yeah, we have continuous education, whether it be an actual live presentation. We usually have a lot of different professionals in a lot of different areas of investment, different investment structures that will come in and basically give education. That's all we provide is education. We do not provide any form of tax or legal advice, but we provide an abundance of education, both live as well as via the webinars and some of the online content that we offer as well.
So I guess what I'm going to do is sort of highlight, so I am the tax person. Lamar, again, is helping clients and sort of directing them, in some cases, to people like me. But the fact of the matter is that many people aren't aware that if you're buying and selling real estate with a very short holding period, so they call it flipping, I guess, that actually can be considered to be a business.
Right.
And if it's a business, that means